did, and it was not great.
Oh no.
I mean, like, I'm an embarrassing person in general, but I try not to like do more than I should, you know?
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Hi, I'm so pleased to be with you. Thank you for having me in your studio in your home.
Yeah. Yep. This is a home studio. Just I just turned one of our bedrooms into a
Yeah,
studio. So yeah.
that's what I'm working on. Like I have an office slash like second bedroom situation in this cute
Yeah.
little house, and I'm like, I think I can put like a little thing here and like a little light
Right.
here. I'm ready to glow up, really step
I
into
hear
that
that.
content creator role.
I hear that. I hear that. Yeah.
Um, but hello, welcome
Yeah.
to our friendship. If you'd like to be friends,
Yeah, for sure.
first off, I fucking love your music. It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
I
you've been doing it a while or something.
yeah, just a little something new, but
Hmm.
turns out I'm good at it, so I'll just keep going.
What a treat to find out you're good at something.
Right.
Um, Before we go further, how do you? This is a question I ask everyone. How do you
Mhm.
introduce yourself right now to people?
What do you mean?
Like you are at some sort of kickback with your friends, and
Okay.
someone's like, "Hey, I'm Kevin," and you're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "So, like, what's your thing? What do you
Oh yeah.
like?"
Hey, I'm Jay, J.Crum. I make music and yeah, I guess I don't know. I would just tell them, yeah, I would just tell them my name. I'm J.Crum and you know, made music for a few years. Um, I have a um, creative agency called Streetlight Sounds, where I help independent artists um, brand themselves. I help them market themselves. I help them, um, if they need, it's kind of like a one-stop shop for independent artists. So if they need graphic design, things like that, we can help them out with all that stuff,
Yes.
consultations, all that. So yeah,
Listen, if you're
but
if you're an indie artist out here, boy, do I got the person for you.
yeah, yeah. Check this out. I have a course right now called Artist Elevate that has this isn't even me trying to
No,
pat myself on the
listen,
back, but
listen. In this house, we pat ourselves on the back.
okay,
We
bet,
stand
bet, bet.
ourselves because if we're not going to stand ourselves, who's going to do it?
I hear you. I hear you. But this course I made is very good. And the people who have taken it have said I have multiple people who have said it changed their life. And um yeah. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, please check us out. Streetlightsounds.co. If you're an independent artist or even a small business, we would love we can still help you out. Content creators, we can help you out. We can do all that. So yeah.
Ugh. I mean, I'm gonna call you. I think I need to.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It's like dead ass. Like it's like the thing I'm looking for right now is just like I need. Uh, I need someone to like take the videos that come from like this little thing,
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
into a bazillion TikToks. I need
Yeah.
somebody to render it into an Instagram. I need because like I can do that. I know
Yeah.
how to do that. I just don't want to. I
I hear
hate
you.
it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, like so you have the right idea, right? Because you have like this big macro piece of content that can exist in itself, but there's so many things that you can, you know,
Hmm.
repurpose it for. And what I find is a lot of people don't repurpose their content. So you could take sound bites from things like this and
Hmm.
you can create content for the next couple of weeks, just out of this long form conversation. So yeah.
Hmm. That's the plan. And I'm also really glad I get to talk to you because, like, I also I'm starting to tap into like my TikTok friends out there. I'm
Hmm.
just like, I just find it to be the most fascinating little thing.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like I know it's like it has its toxic things because it's the internet and it's
Hmm.
you know white supremacy and capitalism all the way through, turtles all the way down on that. And still, social media still proves to be a fertile ground for a lot of people to like make their start or at least
Yeah.
like to find their people.
Hmm.
Um, has that been your experience?
Yeah, yeah,
As somebody who's like, especially using it as a platform to promote your music too.
yeah, for sure. One of the things I've, because I mean, I was into like social media back when like MySpace was like
Mhm.
popping. So like, I was in high school, but I was making music then too. So trying to figure that out. And so as time has changed and things
Sorry.
have, no, it's all right. Um, as things have evolved, and things will continue to, but like me trying to stay ahead of the curve, right? And me trying
Mhm.
to create content that works and, you know, trying not to be late to the party on certain things,
Mhm.
has been something I've been trying to do. I did get into TikTok a little late. But
Oh, same.
yeah, yeah. But because for the longest it was like a kids app, like it was a kids dance app for a while, and I was like,
Yeah, that
I'm
way was music.ly, and everyone's just like,
musically, yeah, yeah, and just people dancing, and for me it was like, all right, listen, I'm pushing 30, so like you have no business on this app, sir. And so it was,
That's exactly how I
yeah,
feel. I'm 32 and I'm out here trying to
yeah,
time these fucking little things and
yeah,
make a meme out of myself. Like, god
yeah, yeah,
damn.
yeah. But yeah, as the app has evolved, um, we're able to do it. And soon, like there's gonna be a time where TikTok's not it anymore, and something else comes along. So but yeah, social media is really, like you were saying, it is very fertile ground for, you know, um,
Mhm.
not just to like start careers, but to make like real relationships. Like
Mhm.
some of the people I've met just off of TikTok are like some of my closest friends now. Um,
Yes.
and so like that's been really really cool. And other forms of social media has existed for that as well. Instagram, I've met people off of Instagram,
Mhm.
who we just clicked, and so yeah, so it's always interesting to see uh all the things that can come out of social media. People have built their fortune off of social media. It's
I mean,
something.
it's how I pay my bills right now. Like,
Yeah,
if I didn't have social media, people wouldn't find me, people wouldn't hire me.
right, right. Same. So
So, it's w I in some ways, I don't hate that. I wouldn't even say that I'm indebted to it, because I think a lot of people are just like, "Oh, social media. I gotta thank social media." I'm just like, social media is a phenomena and a tool. I do not
yeah.
have to thank it. I don't have
Mhm.
that's idolatry, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
You
the
don't
empire
owe.
wants us.
Yeah, you don't owe, like it's not like you it's always like oh, don't criticize like inanimate objects or something like that. It's almost like it's like a thing of it was like the church. Don't
Mhm.
criticize the church, like for the longest, don't criticize church. It was like who, what are we defending? Like
Right. The
really,
church
you
is
know what I
not
mean?
like, the thing we're criticizing, if you say, we're like we're talking about this big system thing, and
Yeah,
we're talking about the problems that this system creates, and if
right.
you are defending that thing that's causing the problem, and it's like you're actually not a part of the problem, you're just mad at the fact that I'm mad. You're
Yeah,
actually a
you're
nice
mad,
person.
right, right, right. You're mad that I'm mad at a this
And
thing. Like
what?
you don't, yeah, like you don't like. I saw this quote that was really dope. Like
Mm.
your loyalty stops where the abuse starts. Like
Should.
so, so if there was something that abusive that came from that, and I criticized that, like you don't just allow it to happen or make it feel like it's less than because of the things you feel like the good things you felt like it provided for you. You're
Mhm.
not. And so like, but it's always interesting. Like people defend, but it's the same with social media. No, it built my career. Oh, like, yeah, that's fine, but like it has been scientifically proven like how it's affected the psychology of people. I mean, how
Mhm.
the depression rates have gone up, right? How
Mhm.
the self-image of people is completely determined by, how many
Mm,
likes you get on a post, to all the
right.
way to the point where you now have social media um, entities like Instagram who are considering getting rid of likes, like because of how bad it's affected the psyche of people who use them, or who
Mhm,
who look at them. So like, um, I think it's important to
mhm.
um, to talk about those things because like
Yeah.
you don't owe them.
Yeah, and it's like we also see the way that, like, social media, like, dis again, disproportionately disenfranchises minority voices and Black
Right.
voices and trans voices and queer voices
Hmm.
and women's voice, like, all again, it's turtles all the way down once again.
Right.
Um, it would be one like, I'm just like, if we could we please just bring back, like, the timeline feed on everything?
Yeah,
I miss that because
I
then
do
we're
too.
having conversations in real time when they're actually happening,
Hmm.
and not 4 days later, it's still circulating the internet because of the algorithm serving it to
Right.
us, you
Right.
know? And then also, like, the things that I actually like are most I think for a lot of us, folks who are, like, thoughtful content creators or, like, in some ways trying to make something to, like, help our community in some way to get a better
Hmm.
message out there, we're unable to do that sometimes because I have to feed the beast to stay relevant. I gotta hook the fish.
Right.
I
Right.
have to become a product in order to be worthy of someone's attention so I can say, "Hey, do you know that I love you? Do you know that God
Yeah.
loves?" Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah. That which then sets it up for people to say things to you like you're a brand and a product, you know,
Yes.
where it leaves room for people to dehumanize you. Um, and that is,
Mm,
that's one of the hardest parts of this thing, because people
mhm.
then just view you for what you provide for them,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't see that you're a person with feelings and emotions and trauma and all
Yes.
those things behind,
Yeah.
behind that screen. So
Like, I know the thing I've seen going on your sphere is just like you told the world, "Guess what? I don't believe Jesus is the way."
yeah, yeah, or at least
I
not the only way. Yeah,
yeah, he's a
yeah,
way. He's nice. He's
yeah.
lit.
Right, right.
But, and I've seen how people react to you just like I mean, it was like when I came out, it was like same shit, different story.
Yeah,
It's just like you're being deceived. Like the elders of my old church who hadn't talked to me in 6 months were hitting me up. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the same. People who had never spoken to me
never
started hitting
spoken
me
to
up.
you. Can we
Right,
just?
right, right.
They've never spoken to me.
Yeah, yeah. The people that I haven't spoken to in forever hit me up, and even this was the interesting part. The people who had ignored me for a long time
My, my.
now are speaking up. That was always here's the crazy part, right? Because like up to the point of me saying, "Hey y'all, I don't know if I'm Christian anymore." Um Up until that point, like I was making Christian music. I was a Christian
Mhm.
rapper, I built my whole career on this thing. And so um but there were like more like prominent Christian rappers who I was like trying to work with.
Mhm.
So when I say I'm agnostic now, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't believe Jesus is the only way anymore. That there are certain things with Christianity that I don't agree with or identify with anymore. Um so when I say that, now all of a sudden these people are like, "Yo, let's talk. Let's hit me up. Let's And it was always that's the part that I still haven't figured out. Like why
Let's
now?
talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like why now do you want to talk? Why now are we, you want to be friends with me? Why now? I don't
Mm.
understand it, but I do not trust it. So I'm kind of like I'm kind of just
I don't
staying
understand it,
where
and
I'm
I
at.
do not trust it. I'm going
Yeah,
to like
yeah,
and I think
yeah.
more people need to hear that. Just like if you don't understand what's happening, you should not advance, baby.
Yeah, yeah, just,
Mm.
Because you setting yourself up for so. Like, listen, man, I have I'm be like so I did there are people like within that community that are trying so hard to like cancel me, right? Which
Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to giggle at that.
oh no, it's hilarious. Like it's hilarious. Like so I did the whole Disney Smasher Pass video, right?
Yes.
And I said I was like, you know, uh Jessica Rabbit and
Oh, yeah,
like you know what I
listen.
mean? Like stuff like that. I was like,
Listen,
you know,
I am the gayest
yeah,
motherfucker out there. I would
yeah,
she's
yeah.
I'd
But
let
it's
her smash me, baby.
right.
Ugh.
You know, but like it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's not like this isn't it's not serious. It's stupid. But like there was a guy who was like who saw it and he has his own like whole Christian publication or whatever, but it's like super far right and everything like that. And so but they took that and then said um like I'm a predator because of I play Disney Smasher Pass and like how like TikTok is like a breeding ground for predators, and I'm like as if I'm among them because I play Disney Smasher Pass.
I was like, "No,
Um,
let me you wanna know where the actual ground for predators are? It's called
yeah,
evangelical churches."
yes, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, so it was like, but it was like for me, it was like, dude, this is so ridiculous. Like, let me just have fun with this because this is ridiculous. So I ended up making like an apology video
To the cartoon
to the
community.
cartoon community.
I gotta apologize.
Yeah, like
I'm
come on,
I'm
y'all. Like
sorry.
this is ridiculous. Was it immature? Was like the yeah, sure, but it's like that's stupid. You know what I mean?
I
Because
was
you don't have to
like, I'm a
take
peak
everything so
millennial who's
serious.
almost 30 years old, and you know
Yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah. Please relax. You know. So
Like, I just, like I wanna know, like, what is what is your day like that you've got the time
yeah,
to to, like, and what about this moment, like, frightened you so much
yeah,
that you had to create a whole ass lie?
yeah. So
For and
the
for
fresh
what? And for
yeah.
whom?
So the frustration was he views me as an apostate, right? And
What a classical
and
word.
right.
Also, for people who don't know what apostate is, and there are some, can you
Yeah.
define it?
Yeah. So like as far as like somebody who he says like has blasphemed the Holy Spirit, right? You're somebody who has
Me.
you've gone on record and said
Every
that you don't believe Jesus is the way. So now and at one point you did, and so now you are an apostate. Um
ah.
you've committed apostasy. And so because I've done that and that there are still Christians who are friends with me, that I'm still nice to people, that I'm still within, you know, I'm still like communicating with people. We're still friends. Like we respect each other's differences. Like he views that as like, no, we need to get this guy out of our community. You know, he is an apostate. And so
Oh,
he's trying
yeah.
to so now he saw that, okay, well, his apostasy wasn't enough to get me out of here. So now he's looking for another reason, you know, and so he's grasping at straws,
Mhm.
and the straw he chose was Disney Smasher Pass. So, you know,
That's straw it just
yeah, man.
I mean, like, if that's the straw you wanna sip with, baby, I
Right.
mean,
Listen, man.
go.
Go ahead,
Like,
man. Keep it up. Like you just
sip
making
that
yourself
Kool-Aid,
look.
baby.
Yeah.
Do all
You're
it.
just making yourself look terrible. It's all right though.
They make it
You
like
know.
that's like they this is one thing I and I wanted to like I wanna know, like, your take on this maybe too, is, like, I I live for a clapback, I live for a takedown, I live for an
Yeah.
expose them video,
Hmm.
and I also find that, like, I don't love spending time reacting to stupid people. I don't
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it reminds me so much of, like, at the beginning of my journey when, like, I came out, it was Facebook was the place to be.
Yeah.
And so I found myself just arguing in DMs and in comment sections and
Yeah.
trying to prove to people, oh no, that this like I'm a real Christian.
Hmm.
Um And I'm over here not even trying to prove myself as a real Christian. I'm just trying to say, hey, you should be nicer.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
apparently is heresy now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Kindness, a
Yeah.
fruit of the
Well, they,
spirit. Who knew?
but a lot of Christians will spin it like me telling you this is me being nice. Like,
Right.
like this is love. Me telling you that you're going to hell is me loving you because you know I'm warning you about your eternal resting place. You don't want to burn forever, right? And it's this thing of
Mhm.
like, what kind of relationship is that? So where like you there's this thing that's been created for people like, hey, you must love me, and if you don't love me, this is what's going to happen to you.
Mhm.
And it's not my choice. You're choosing it. That's not a choice. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if if my mom is like, she's like, hey, eat Brussels sprouts or I'm gonna beat your ass. It's like, okay, is that really a choice? Because
I mean, that is like, I think like the threat of hell is tantamount to training people for Stockholm syndrome. It's
yeah,
holding a gun to your head and say, "Do you love me?
right, right,
Do you love me? Do you promise never to leave me? Do you
yeah,
promise
yeah,
to do everything I tell you to do?"
right,
Or like standing there with someone, let's even say with a fucking torch,
right,
and saying,
right,
"Do you love me? Promise you'll never leave me. Say you'll
right.
never. Say you love
Say you
me. Say
never,
you love my
yeah,
son.
right.
Say you love my son that I killed for
Tell me,
you."
tell me I'm good. Tell me, like praise me. And so like,
Mm,
and people will say I'm being heretical by saying it like that,
mm-mm.
but that's literally like that's what the scenario is.
That is the threat of hell,
Yeah, that's the
and that's
scenario.
not. And I don't know. Uh, I don't think that's love. Like
Yeah.
that's
Um.
manipulation. That's
Right.
also
And
like not choosing God. So even by that's like choice under duress. So
yeah.
even by the most conservative standards of evangelicalism, it contradicts itself because in order to choose salvation, it must be a choice made of your own volition,
Right.
not
Right.
under duress.
Right.
I rest my
So when
case.
yeah, right, right. And so when I was deconstructing, one of the very first things I deconstructed was hell.
Mm,
Um, which was good because it was like, okay, now at least, regardless of what happens, right? Because when Jesus was talking
oh
about hell, he
yeah.
was talking about Gehenna, which was an
Mhm.
actual place where a leprosy colony and all that. So it's like so it was like one of those things where it's like I don't have to, regardless of what happens here, right? I don't
Mhm.
have a lake of fire, you know what I mean, to
Yeah.
worry about, right? In my whole
Let
life,
alone a gay lake of fire. That's my
yeah,
favorite thing.
the gay lake of fire. Oh
That's
shit.
what we always talk about. Just like it's just
Yeah.
like, listen, you're headed for a gay lake of fire, and I'm just like, well, that's I'm gonna start a campground,
right,
like
right.
a clothing
That
optional
sounds
campground at that.
like I'm not gay, but that sounds like fun. Like
Liddy,
right. That's like
hey, welcome to Gay Lake of Fire
yeah.
retreat.
Right, right, right. That's
Listen, we might have just branded something here. I
right,
don't know. Hey, y'all, if you'd be interested in Gay Lake of Fire camping retreat
right, right,
or
right.
urban camping retreat, because I don't like camping, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
like a dope house in the city somewhere, and
Yeah.
we'll just hang out and do dope shit together
Right, right, right.
by a pool.
Um,
By a pool. I'm
yeah.
done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so deconstructing that was it helped out a lot because it was like, okay, that's what these words actually mean, you know.
Mm,
The only time where it's ever talking about like like actual like, you know, fire and place of torment was speaking about where Satan would be casted. And so like
hmm.
so seeing that helped out a lot. But yeah, so now like when people say, are you going to hell? I'm like, oh, well, that's not a real place. So
Mm. It's
or
it's like
yeah, what are you really, which hell are you talking about? Which of the four places are you referring to? So,
I'm like, listen,
um,
I'm just like when people say you're going to hell, I'm just like, girl, I'm living in it every day. It's
yeah,
called it's called
this
living in the
conversation,
South.
this conversation is hell. That's what,
You
not this one,
but you're
not this one,
putting
but yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the
Me,
conversation
me
with this
reading,
asshole.
yeah, me reading your comment is hell. So, yeah.
I'm like, and that's what people don't really understand. It's just like that really is the power we all sort of have with one another. It's like we can either bring each other me because I'm a Christian sometimes. We can bring each other into heaven or we can put each other in hell.
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
do it all the time. And then also
yeah.
same thing with ourselves. Like I noticed for myself is like when I feel like I have to defend myself against these opinions that do not matter ultimately,
Hmm.
I'm putting myself in hell. I gotta
Yeah.
realize part of my healing is I gotta say no to even wasting my energy on that stuff because it's like it's a hard world out here already
Yeah.
without me wasting my breath trying to convince somebody of my humanity who's committed to misunderstanding me.
Hmm. Yeah. And that part's key. Like you are committed to misunderstanding me. You've already
Mhm.
made up in your mind what I've said, right? So it doesn't matter what my response is to you. Like
I'm an
you
apostate.
already, yeah, yeah, you don't care. That's why I put out that message where I was like, listen, you guys already view me as like an apostate. Like you don't need to make up anything if you want to write me off. Like your religion has given you everything that you need to
Mhm.
distance yourself from me, right?
Yeah.
So it just bothers you that I'm not a horrible person, right? It just
Isn't
bothers you.
that
I'm
the
the same. I'm
goddamn
the same.
face crack of the century for them?
Right, right. Like it bothers you that I'm still, I'm still as real. I'm still as loving. I'm still as caring, maybe even more so. Um, Still as
Ding dong.
accepting, and that bothers you. It bothers you
Mm.
that people still like me. It bothers you that, that's the case. And I don't know what to tell you. I'm
I
just a dope
know.
ass, I'm just a dope ass individual, and
Yeah.
you're not.
And people
So
that real like that's like the thing like ugh that's the like that is the attitude I think. And I feel like that needs to be the attitude of so many more of our friends.
Mhm.
It's just like listen, like you got to recognize that we were looking for approval, right? I
Yeah.
think that's like well, we're looking for belonging and it was because we were told that we were not allowed to approve of ourselves. We were
Yeah.
not even allowed to belong to ourselves. And you finally getting out of your way or and unburdening yourself from all the expectation and making the only expectation your happiness and your uh like because like apparently we only get to be in these bodies one time. If we have to,
Mhm.
we might as well have a good time.
Right, right.
But what I've seen, like, at least I mean, I've only followed your work for a slight amount of time, um, but, like, I see such a you have such a groundedness about you that is infectious,
I appreciate
and
that, man.
yeah, and I mean, it's just like and it's like I was like, and you're it's like, "I'm not doing anything spectacular here.
Yeah.
I'm j I'm just doing what I love and trying to be okay and trying, uh" you know, to love myself and love
Mhm.
others as an extension of myself,
Right.
and people are
Yeah.
fucking mad about it.
Right. Yeah. They are, man. I think the crazy part too, like I think people have an idea when you say agnostic,
Mm,
right? People have an idea of what that means, or people automatically view it as like it's a horrible bad thing, right?
mhm.
Um, and like if you just check out what that means, it really just means I don't know. Like it doesn't. I'm not claiming a belief or disbelief. It's just me saying, hey, y'all. At the end of the day, I just do not know, right?
Mhm.
And so
Couldn't know.
I couldn't know. And if more people would be honest, they don't know either. Um,
Right.
and
Oh my
so
gosh. I wish everybody would admit that they don't know.
yeah,
It's so freeing. It's the
yeah, it's
best.
freeing, right? It's this thing of like I like free yourself from knowing, right? And
Yes.
imagine if you freed yourself from knowing how much more loving you would be, how much more accepting you would be, how many less arguments would you be getting in if you could just admit, like, hey, I just don't know. I'm not certain, you know.
Mhm.
Because there are things, and this is why I probably won't ever like completely distance myself from Christianity, right? Because
Mhm.
there are a lot of beautiful things about like pure Christianity, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes,
Loving
yes.
like the teachings of Jesus,
Mhm.
loving people, being accepting of people, um,
Feeding the
like
poor and hungry,
yeah,
visiting
feeding
the
the yeah,
widow and the
yeah,
orphan,
absolutely, absolutely, standing up for the disenfranchised, like,
treating aliens and your country as your own.
absolutely. And so all of these things that Jesus has taught, those are things I can apply to my life, right? Those are lessons that I think are beautiful. That I'm like, you know what? I agree with that 100%. That is part of my moral code. Like that is something that I can live by.
Mhm.
And so like I don't. So that's why I would never be a person who would be like, hey, I'm anti-theist or whatever. And I'm never closing the. I like at least right now, I'm not closing the door on. Hey, there may be a day where I like maybe I reconstruct into some version of this. But right now,
Mhm.
it's just there's no pressure on me to do that. Right? There's no
Mhm.
like there's a freedom to um
Mhm.
there's freedom to love myself. It's a freedom to love others, regardless of who they are, what they believe, who they love, like eh, I what they identify as. Like there's a
Mhm.
freedom of doing all of those things um without feeling like, man, I have to like avoid this affirmation
Mhm.
because I would be misleading you and sending you down a direction of hell.
Mhm.
When that's not like when like because we deconstructed it, which that's not an
That's not
actual
a
place.
place.
Yeah,
You are
so
afraid of an illusion. Do you
yeah,
recognize that? And s
exactly. And with that being gone, it's like, man,
Mhm.
I
There's no agenda. I don't need anything
yeah,
from you. I don't need you to change for me to be happy.
yes, with my whole life, bro. Listen, man,
Mm.
like my whole life growing up, bro, I grew up in church.
Yes.
Like from the ages of 7, I went to an apostolic, super charismatic church. Speaking in tongues, like all just
Same, same.
rolling around the ground, healing, all this stuff going on, right? Um, and I was taught from a very young age that all of my relationships for people who are not Christian had an agenda to it. That
Mm.
ultimately you need to get those people saved. You need to
Yeah.
invite them to church. They need to get filled with the Holy Ghost. They need to get baptized, and they
Mhm.
need to then become members of, the
The
congregation
community.
and yeah,
They
and all of
gotta
those things.
they gotta assimilate. They gotta get
Right.
into it.
Exactly. And so almost my whole life was uh that or all my relationships had that agenda. Even my girlfriends, bro. Like we're
Mm.
going to youth group. I was so fucking lame. Like,
The
what?
romance.
Yeah, it's like, bruh, like,
When I was dating women in high school, I brought my girl to many a youth group. There was
yes,
no
just
pressure for us to hold hands there, let me
yeah,
tell you.
right, right. It was just going to, hey, you want to come to youth group? Hey, you want to go up to the altar call and pray? Like, just like,
You wanna give your heart to the Lord?
dog,
Ugh.
just a lame. But I just say all that to say, like, um, there's no agenda there anymore, right? I love
Mhm.
you because I love you,
Yes.
regardless of you know who you are,
Mhm.
what you identify as, who you love. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to have that there anymore, and
Yeah.
that's been really, really. And when you look at the crazy thing though, it's like when you look at Jesus, that's what that was too.
Hello, somebody.
Like how many times where there was somebody like, "Hey Jesus, you probably shouldn't hang out with that guy," or "Hey Jesus, you know what she be doing, right?" And he's like, "I don't
Mhm.
give a fuck." Like he didn't say I didn't give a fuck, but he was saying like,
No,
"I
that's
don't
what he
care."
said.
Yeah, that's
No,
what he said,
Jesus
word for
did
word,
say, "I don't give a
word
fuck."
for word. I don't.
He's like, "Why y'all?" He's just like, "Jesus, why aren't your people fasting? Like, why aren't you
Yeah,
doing the religious observances of the time?" And he's
right, right,
like, "Because it's not helpful. Like when I'm gone, they can fast.
right,
Like
right.
when they're trying to like give up, just like." Can you note that the abundance that's right here? There's no like you fast when you're trying to like get into the presence, but if the presence is here, baby,
It's right here, right.
huh?
Oh man, that was good. That was good. I might go back to church, man.
Listen, this is what this is I don't want anyone to go back to church if they don't want to.
No, it
I
was a
am
joke. It was a joke. Yeah, yeah.
no.
No.
That's I know. Like I do want people to find spaces where they can find inspiration with other people. And I'm
Yeah,
somebody who like I love preaching still. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
being able to talk about spiritual concepts and beautiful teachers and beautiful ideas and practices that help us actually love. And what's
yeah.
so wonderful about what I heard you say, you said there's no agenda, there's no more barrier. And something I think about all the time is like people say God loves you. Oh, I'm telling you this
Hmm.
because God loves you. I'm like, don't tell me this because God loves me. I don't know if God exists. Do you love me?
Right,
Like, and I think that's what people want to say, or at least like deep down, that's the truth behind the truth.
right,
You know? That's just like it's like couldn't say if God loves you, but I do.
right.
That's how God becomes manifest on the earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Wow, that's good, man. That's really good.
it's just like what so like I just like I don't need you to believe anything.
Hmm.
Like I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you to you're there.
Hmm.
And it's like I love you like as an let me not. I'll keep going. I will.
No, it's all good, man. That's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah, it's like cuz like I read a wonderful book recently called Wisdom Jesus by Cynthia Bourgeault, and she posits the idea that when Jesus says love your neighbor as yourself, that he is not saying to love your neighbor as in the same manner that you love your own body, but to
Hmm.
love your neighbor as an extension of who you are, as an extension of self. They
Yeah,
are you. When you love them, you are loving you.
I love that.
And
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
because it really is like anytime I'm loving somebody, generative. There's
Hmm.
extra love that is created. There is more. I'm never losing anything. It is
Yeah,
love without sacrifice.
yeah,
And that to me is appealing.
yeah. That's one of the like even that concept like is one of the things where like when the scripture talks about praying for your enemies,
My.
right? Because you doing that, you praying for your enemies, in turn brings you joy, right? In turn brings
Mhm,
you compassion. In turn brings you empathy. In turn brings you you find yourself forgiving yourself. You find
yes.
yourself you like there's so many things that's out of that, you know.
Mhm,
And so like as I navigate certain things, um like I still hold on to loving my enemy. Um, and
mm,
so while I might address ideas, right? And I
mm,
might address toxic concepts. What I'm not doing and what you would never find is me actually attacking people, right? I'll attack like harmful ideas that are going to continue to hurt people, sure. But I'm never, I'm not here to tell you,
mhm,
you are uh like I think you are like a trash person, or I think that you are Satan himself, or
mhm,
I think, I'm not saying those things. Why? Because like you're a person who has a history,
mhm,
who has trauma, who has, you know,
mhm.
um
Yeah.
all of those things that led to you to saying the things that you said.
Mhm.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
bro. I'll share this with you. So my parents split up when I was 10 years old,
Mm.
right? And so I stayed with my mom, and my dad was the one who left.
Mm.
And so I saw him. So when he left, I saw him once when I was 12. I went and visited him. He took us. So when I saw him, we visited him. We stayed. We were supposed to stay with him for a week. Every day he would drop us off at. I don't know if you remember Sundogs. Um, but they were basically like these like daycares at public parks, and they would have like these
Interesting.
purple and yellow sheds and stuff like that. But they were all over America, Sundogs.
Mm.
My dad would drop us off every day at Sundogs, and then he would just go and hang out with his friends, and or do whatever he was doing, and then he would pick us up at 6, and then we would go eat dinner, and then he was done for the day, and that was like our time there. Um,
Damn.
and so I ended up breaking my arm at one of the Sundogs programs, and then he was like, "All right, I'm done," and he dropped me off back at my grandma's house. Um, and so
Shit.
yeah, so I saw him at 12. When I was 15, I almost died. I had a brain infection, and my dad showed up. That was the next time that I saw him.
Huh.
I did not see my dad again till I was 18 when I graduated. Didn't speak with him, nothing like that. So when I was 18, he showed up,
Mm.
graduated, gave me some money, left. And
Mm.
then and so I had it spoke. So I spoke with him. I went and visited him when I was 24, right? So I'm 20.
Mm.
So I'm 24. I fly. He's living in Atlanta with his girlfriend. I fly down there for his birthday, and I'm telling him then that like, yo, I want a relationship with you. This is my last time reaching out. So if you want to have a relationship, I need to see some effort on your side, right?
Mhm.
Another year goes by, never calls me. Um, he then moves to Omaha, to where I live. Um, he like leaves the girl, he gets he retires and everything like that, and he now lives in Omaha. And um I like I'm not able to connect with them. I'm just angry all the time.
Mhm.
Um and he stays for about a year and a half, and he ends up leaving. He says he's getting ready to leave again, and I don't know why I was so mad, but I was just like, dude, you just abandoned me again. Like I don't like I was like, I hate you. Like I was angry, and I remember going. I was fully intent. Like I was gonna go over to where he was, and I was just gonna like I thought maybe we were gonna fight. Like we were just gonna start. I was just gonna beat his ass. Like I don't know what was gonna happen, but I knew like I was so angry. And so then we have a conversation, and he starts telling me about his childhood. And
Mm.
um trigger warning for anybody, this is involves like
Mm.
SA and all that stuff. But like, so he starts telling me about his um his childhood, and like his brothers would sell him to other kids in the neighborhood, and um they would like, so he was getting like SA'd by like other kids in the neighborhood, and they would inject him with drugs, and like there were just a lot of like just horrible things happening to him. So one of the things that showed me this, right, that okay,
Mm.
um it humanized my father, and it showed me that like, damn, you're a whole person with trauma, emotions, a horrible history. And it made me look at you like, had I gone through what you had gone through, could I have could I have done what could I have done whatever I expected of you? And
Mhm.
like honestly, I couldn't.
Mhm.
Honestly, like, now this doesn't necessarily excuse him, right? Like,
Of course.
you have a responsibility, but
Mhm.
it humanized him, and it caused me to see like, no, you are a person, with trauma, history, and all of those things. So while yes, we do need to address the fatherlessness, while we do need to address the trauma you caused me, while we do need to address those things, I can now address the concepts and not attack you as a person because you went through some shit, right? You went through some
Mhm.
like so the like you were put in a place where you were so miserable you couldn't feel like you could do the things that I was expecting from you. And
Mhm.
so yeah, so that changed my perspective of people though, right? To
Right.
where when I'm being attacked, I've almost like have empathy for you. Like
Mm.
how messed up do you have to be in here and in here um
Mhm.
to feel like you can jump on the internet and say these horrible things
Mhm.
about somebody, you
Yeah.
know? Like you gotta be hurting. And I don't know what it is that like made you hurt that way. But we're going to address these things. I'm not going to attack you because I know
Mhm.
there are some things that I don't know about that you probably would never tell me
Mhm.
about, but there's something there that hurts you to the point to where you felt like you needed to do this. And
Mhm.
that just changes the way how I speak to people. It changes the way how I I work with kids. I work with kids who are on probation and kids who deal with addiction and all of that. So it changes the
Mhm.
way how listen. You might feel like cussing me out and all this type of stuff, but I'm not responding to you in that way. I know you're hurt. I know life
Mhm.
hasn't been fair. I know
Yeah.
I know that
I
this is
know
what
that you
things
are
are like for
following
you.
a fearful God. I know
Right.
that you are
Right.
afraid of so much,
Yeah.
and that your religion demands so
Mhm.
much from you. And
Yeah.
I think what is and they we were all I think I when you were saying, like, "I know these things," and, like, I was like, "Yeah, me too," because we were them. We for
Yeah.
a lot of these people, we were sitting in those same pews, in those same places, in those same men's groups, in the same Bible studies, hearing the
Yeah.
same messages, and we believed it, and we bought it, and we were in,
Yeah.
until we weren't. And so it's just
Mhm.
like, it's,
It's like
it
you are terrified, you know?
yeah. And so that small little part of just like, I'm just here trying to demonstrate what if there is a better way. And I think it's the same thing with you and
Yeah.
anybody who kind of starts to get free from the system. It's like, your freedom is a threat to the system, and the system has trained people to preserve it.
Yeah.
And so
You're
it
people have to defend their reality.
yes. Oh,
Because you know what that means if you're wrong about all of this.
it means, what the fuck was I doing all of this for? And it's
It's
embarrassing.
embarrassing. The
It's
embarrassment, bro.
shameful.
Yeah, it's oh man. Yeah, I think about the things I've said and done and I
Mm.
flinch at myself. I'm just like I shudder at it. Like it's like
Oh,
God,
yeah, I
yeah,
cringe at
cringe.
so much
Yeah.
of my old posts. I don't have, like, Time Hop or anything reminding me of my old posts
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
just like, "Listen, I am a new creation in Christ. I am not going to look back
Yeah,
on the dead."
I hear that. I hear that. No, I think I put out a post like not too long ago. I was like, "Why did y'all let me be this lame? Like, like what?" My Facebook memories popped up, and it was, dude. It was like the most cringiest post. I was like, "Dog,
Ugh.
I was really like this. Like this."
We really
Oh
were, like,
man,
I mean, like, I
yeah,
remember, like, I mean, I was a GD missionary. I was out there.
yeah,
I was taking pictures with brown
yeah,
babies, like, the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
9. Like, it was
yeah,
whoo, but you know what?
yeah,
There is
man.
deliverance in my Lord. Hallelujah.
There is. Yeah.
I know that I don't wanna keep you much past, the time because I don't know what your life
No,
is
we're
like.
good. No, we're good.
Um, I would love I know, you do music, you do creative things. Could you tell humans on the internet where to connect with you, where to
Yeah,
say hello, and how to buy your music and anything
yeah.
else that you have? Because listen, again, we stand ourselves in this world.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you can follow me everywhere at J.Crum Music, JCRUMMUSIC. Then you can go to my website. It's jcrummusic.com. You can purchase merch. Please purchase merch. There's shirts, there's
Listen,
hats,
when we
there's
tell you, when y'all buy
yeah,
our merch, it really A, builds the brand. 2, really
Yeah.
does help us pay our bills. Please go buy the
Yeah,
merch.
really does, really does. So I have a lot of dope merch, a lot of stuff centered around like mental health and all that stuff. So I would love for you guys to support the merch, support the music. You can purchase the music at my website. You can also go to my Bandcamp, jcrummusic.bandcamp.com. You can purchase music there. You can pay whatever you want. So
Mhm.
and then if you are an independent artist, a content creator, small business, reach out to us at streetlightsounds.co. Hit me up for a consultation. We can do a brand brief. Hit me up for, if you need graphic design, you need cover art, hit me up for that. If you need, mixing and mastering, we can do that. You need beats, we got you. You need a press release written, we can help you with that too. So
Mm,
yeah, so whatever really you need it as an independent artist. You need ads management for social media, we do that as well. So that's actually my specialty. So whatever you guys
mm.
need though, I want to be able to help out. So
Listen, I need I'm in the business of wanting to make more coin, so
yeah,
mhm.
yeah, I
Um,
got you.
I like you so much. I'd like to be friends if you're down.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
The
We are
best day.
friends. I'll give you I'm a after this I'll message you my number.
Hell
So
yeah. I'm gonna hit
yeah.